Listen, strength is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't post about what it's going to do. Strength is quiet. It shows up early. It stays late. It keeps moving when everything inside says stop. That's mentality of steel. Not emotion, not hype, not confidence borrowed from a good day. Steel doesn't care how it feels. Steel holds under pressure. You felt this moment before. The moment when your body is tired, your mind is cluttered, your excuses are lined up and ready. You tell yourself you'll do it tomorrow. You've earned a break, you've done enough. That's the moment that defines you. Because most people fold there. They don't collapse dramatically, they just soften. One skipped workout, one avoided responsibility, one excuse that feels reasonable, and that softness spreads into habits, into mindset, into identity. Mentality of steel doesn't bend like that. It holds the line when things get heavy, when it's uncomfortable, when there's no reward in sight. This is not about being aggressive. It's about being unbreakable, calm under stress, focused under chaos, relentless when it hurts. That's what wins, and that's what we're building here. Steel is far jed, no for you. No one is born with this. Not toughness, not discipline, not resilience. Steel is forged, heat, pressure, time. That's the process. You don't wake up disciplined. You don't stumble into mental toughness. You earn it one uncomfortable decision at a time. When you train when you don't feel like it, when you take responsibility instead of blaming, when you finish what you start, especially when it gets hard. That's heat, that's pressure. Most people avoid those conditions. They want growth without friction, results without resistance. Impossible. The reason steel is valuable is because it endures. If your mindset collapses under stress, it's not steel, it's decoration. Mental toughness is proven when things go wrong. That's when you find out what you're made of. Discipline overall I am emotion is unstable. One good night of sleep, you're confident. One bad day, you're questioning everything. That's not leadership, that's volatility. Mentality of steel runs on discipline. Discipline is boring, repetitive, unimpressive from the outside, and that's why it works. Discipline doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're inspired. It says, this is the standard. Execute. That's how you build consistency. That's how you build trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you'd do, especially when it's uncomfortable, you reinforce control. That control becomes confidence. Not fake confidence, not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't panic when pressure shows up. Pressure, RVLs, pressure doesn't create weakness. It reveals it. When things get hard, whatever you've been avoiding shows up. Poor habits, lack of preparation, weak systems. Pressure exposes reality. And that's a good thing if you're willing to face it. Most people run from pressure. They distract themselves, they numb it. Steel stays. Steel absorbs the load. If you want mental toughness, stop avoiding stress. Seek responsibility. Take on difficult tasks. Do things that force you to adapt. That's how you harden. Comfort makes you fragile. Pressure makes you capable. Choose accordingly. ODONEVRITHIG mentality of steel starts with ownership. No excuses, no blame, no deflection. If something fails, own it. If you fall short, own it. Ownership hurts because it removes escape routes. But it also gives power. When you own the outcome, you control the fix. Weak people explain. Strong people adjust. This applies everywhere: training, work, life. When things don't go your way, ask one question: what can I do better? That question builds steel. Stay on my aim to chaos. Chaos is inevitable, plans break, people fail, conditions change. Steel doesn't panic, it adapts. Mental toughness is not emotional suppression. It's emotional control. You acknowledge stress, then you act anyway. Slow breathing, clear decisions, next right move. That's how leaders operate. That's mentality of steel. EDUR and I and ISA is lefty. Anyone can be strong for a moment. Anyone can push when the energy is high. Anyone can perform when the conditions are right. That's not toughness. Endurance is toughness. Endurance is showing up when there's nothing left to give. When the body is drained. When the mind is dull. When progress feels invisible. This is where steel is proven. Because endurance is not explosive. It's quiet. It's stubborn. It's relentless. You don't feel powerful here. You feel tired. And that's exactly why it matters. This is where people lie to themselves. They say, I'll rest today, I'll reset tomorrow, I just need a break. Sometimes rest is necessary. Most of the time, it's just avoidance dressed as wisdom. Mentality of steel knows the difference. Steel doesn't ask, do I feel capable? Steel asks, what's required? And then it delivers. One more step, one more rep, one more decision done correctly. Not fast, not pretty, that's endurance. That's steel. TKLO mind, your hands harden through friction. Your mind hardens the same way. Stress, pressure, repetition. Avoid pressure and your mind stays soft. Face it daily and it becomes resilient. A callous mind doesn't panic. It doesn't rush. It doesn't emotionally react. It observes. It decides. It executes. That's the goal. Not constant motivation, not emotional intensity. Control. When something goes wrong, fragile minds collapse. Steel minds adjust. They don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, what's the next move? This is why mental toughness is trained, not talked about. Cold mornings. Hard conversations, uncomfortable responsibilities. You don't need more inspiration. You need more exposure. Steel is built through repetition under stress. No shortcuts, no hacks, just work. No own eyes, IG. This is a hard truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to fix your discipline. No one is coming to carry your responsibilities. No one is coming to force you to be better. And that's good, because if someone had to save you, you'd always be dependent. Mentality of steel is self-reliance. You handle it. You adapt. You carry the load. That doesn't mean isolation. It means ownership. You stop waiting for the right moment. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop waiting for permission. You move, even when it's imperfect, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially then, that's how control is built. Stada ards over feelings change. Standards don't. If your performance depends on how you feel, your results will always be unstable. Steel operates on standards. A standard says, this is what I do, regardless of mood, regardless of fatigue, regardless of doubt. Standards remove negotiation. No internal debate, no emotional bargaining, just action. That's why disciplined people look calm under pressure. They're not figuring things out in the moment. They already decided who they are. And when pressure hits, they execute that identity. Decide your standard, then live it, especially on the hard days. Dominance, dominance is misunderstood. It's not aggression, it's not volume, it's not intimidation. Dominance is consistency over time. Showing up when others fade, maintaining discipline when others relax, executing basics when others chase shortcuts. That's dominance. It doesn't look exciting, but it's unstoppable. While others burn out, steel endures. While others quit, steel advances day after day, rep after rep. That's how you separate. This is the truth. Mentality of steel is not about being fearless. It's about acting despite fear. Not about being emotionless. About being controlled. Not about intensity. About endurance. Steel doesn't break when things get hard. It holds. When pressure shows up, it doesn't panic. When fatigue sets in, it doesn't fold. When excuses appear, it ignores them. That's the edge. Right now, you have a choice. You can stay soft, or you can harden. You can keep negotiating with weakness, or you can set a standard and live it. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You need discipline. Start now. No excuses. Do the work. Build a mentality of steel and become someone pressure cannot break.